claim, other than the fact we're talking about one of the great painters of the 20th century, Picasso mania. There is no Matisse mania.
Yes.
There is no Cézanne mania. There is Picasso.
Exactly. It's the name. It's the man. Of course, I think the man has been mythologized because his life and his lifestyle is relatively amusing and unconventional, and I think people like maybe this idea. Also, his political involvement, with certain causes, which had to do with peace and all this sort of thing, have struck many people's imagination, and he did posters for all these political causes like political prisoners, or he helped in the Spanish War to fight against the fascist the people, and he painted Guernica and all of those sort of things. So that's something that people really are attracted to, and they think he's politically correct, something like this.
Exactly. The interesting thing too is the scope of the career, how long he painted.
Yes.
And how early he painted, and the recognition by his father how good he was at an early age, and the fact that he was painting until the death in the south of France. It must be for you to look at you and to know and to see Picasso in you, having looked at enough paintings and portraits of Picasso, and to also have seen great paintings of you. I mean, you are the sitter,
yes,
the subject for some of the great paintings of the 20th century.
Yes, well, as a matter of fact, it's interesting what you just said, the sitter. But and then you caught yourself because you know because you've heard before. I never sat.
I know exactly. That's right.
And hardly ever anybody sat for my father because that's not the way he worked.
Exactly.
And he had terrific sense of observation, and he would just do everything from memory.
Right.
In fact, for him, it was rather disturbing to have anybody sit in front of him, because that would, sort of freeze him. He would not feel as free and as generous in his ideas.
There's a famous story of Gertrude Stein.
Yes.
In which he painted after how many 90 sittings he didn't have it right,
90,
and she went away.
No, he went away.
He went away
for the whole summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the minute he came back, he saw the painting, said, "Well," and he just took her face off and then painted her
from his mind.
Directly, as a minute, he took her face off and then painted her again, and that was that.
Yeah.
That was the end. That was the painting that he always was looking for after 90 sittings.
Exactly. And then it just proves the point well. Yes. And the other thing that was amazing about that is that people her friends came to her and said, "Oh, that's not you."
Yeah.
And she said.
No, my father said, "Well, maybe now, but you'll see, you'll end up looking like the painting."
And it was true.
Yes,
she did. And she said that
true,
too.
Yes.
She always said, "It is me." She said,
"Yes, and it is me now." Yes.
And then after that, it was always painting from memory and always painting.
Yes, and it's true. And if you think today, everyone knows. Many people know about Gertrude Stein, and what do they know about Gertrude Stein?
Picasso.
That painting. They don't really know her even in the photograph or anything like this. It's really quite amusing.
What are your earliest memories of him?
Well, obviously, when I was a child and a small child, and when we lived in the south of France, and it was rather. Amusing, and of course, when you're a child, everything's very amusing and simple and light and gay, and so the usual sort of thing.
You remember a father who happened to paint?
Yeah, he happened to paint, and he happened to make sculptures and do things like that, which were very amusing, and sometimes. It involved me in the strangest ways, because I used to, as many boys, sort of bang out my toys and destroy them, and I don't know what. And he always liked to keep everything. So he collected my toys and took them to the studio, and then, you know, the famous sculpture of the baboon and young, which includes 2 of my cars, and of course, you know, that was really outrageous. I thought that was disgusting. How come, you know, how dare you, you know, steal my cars and, you know, turn them into a monkey? But later on, I learned it was much more interesting what he had done with the cars than what I had done.
That's great.